can we all come together for a brief moment and admit something? All of us wish at some point in our lives we had some friends. Maybe you got some friends now, and maybe you're someone out there who still does not truly have one single friend. And you've been trying, you've been going to bars, you've been going to mingle meets, you've been trying to make friends, and you got no other options except the place where you work. Often the worst place to try to find some friends. And you see your coworkers mingling, talking to each other, having a fun time, and you wonder to yourself, golly gee, can I get in on the action? Can I be invited to the parties, the invites, the after work mingles? And you think to yourself, I don't know how to introduce myself to my coworkers. I don't know how to get them to see me as someone who's fun and quirky to hang out with. I need to come up with something. And you think to yourself, what could you do? Could you possibly have the balls to interact with them and say, hey, I know we work together, but I would like to be stronger acquaintances? No? That's crazy. Would you maybe invite them out to potentially go to the movies or go out to eat or go hang out somewhere so that you could connect as coworkers and maybe friends? No? That's crazy. Would you stage a fake mass shooting in order to trauma bond with your coworkers? Because that's what this woman did. Malika Brittingham, terrible name, the woman in custody for making a false report of an active shooter at a joint base McGuire-Dixlickhurst in New Jersey and causing a lockdown, that's a mouthful to say, wanted to trauma bond with her coworkers, according to court documents. A criminal complaint filed in federal court said Brittingham, who works with the Naval Air Warfare Center in Maryland, but is assigned to Joint Base MDL, texted someone around 10:15 a.m. writing that a shooter was on the base, that she had heard 5 or 6 shots, and that she was hiding in a closet with coworkers. The text prompted a lockdown order just before 11 a.m. Tuesday after the person she texted called the base operations center and 911, relaying the information that Brittingham told her. The lockdown, which drew statewide attention and multiple social media posts from Governor Phil Murphy, was lifted after base officials determined there was no shooter. Our priority is safety and security of everyone on the installation. We work closely with law enforcement and emergency responders to ensure the situation was investigated and resolved as quickly as possible. Brittingham initially told authorities that she did not send the text until after she was told to shelter in place, according to the complaint, but further investigation regarding the timing proved that that was false. Brittingham eventually admitted that she sent the text and knew there was no active shooter. Prosecutors said she told investigators she carried out the hoax because she had been ostracized by her coworkers and hoped that they shared experience in response to an active shooter would allow them to trauma bond. Ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to say, as someone in the year 2025 who really doesn't have any friends to hang out with unless it's via a phone call, this is probably the most batshit thing under the sun anybody could do. You could have any layer of an outcome that could exist in your mind. You sitting down in like a prayer circle on a Ouija board saying, will I make friends, yes or no, would have been more normal than this. You actively had people concerned on a base that they might get gunned down by some random fucking stranger in a time where everybody's on pins and needles, that maybe at a school, maybe at work, maybe at the mall, maybe just walking, they could get gunned down by just any random person, because it seems like every other day we're just finding out, and it's gaining traction, that there's a shooter here, a shooter there, a shooter here, a shooter there.
We begin with a Fox 10 News alert. Detectives now say DNA helped them track down the suspect in a high-profile murder case.
The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office giving an update in the arrest of 31-year-old Thomas Brown, who's accused of shooting and killing 2 Arcadia teens while on a camping trip. Fox 10's Kenzie Beach has been following the story from the very beginning. She joins us now live with what we are learning. Good morning.
Yeah, Ty, Anita, from the very beginning, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office says they were looking into Thomas Brown after Brown made multiple posts on social media admitting to camping on Mount Ord that weekend. He also gave tips to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, handing over video from that weekend saying that he was helping them. But now Thomas Brown has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the murder of Pandora Jules Root and Evan Clark. Now, deputies say this was a random attack on the 2 teens and Brown acted alone. The suspect, 31-year-old Thomas Brown, contacted the sheriff's office following the murders, saying he had video from the mountain the same weekend the teens were killed. But it was ultimately Brown's DNA found inside the 2 teenagers' car, on a pair of bloody gloves, and additional evidence at the crime scene that led to his arrest. 5 other witnesses came forward from that weekend who came across Brown on the mountain, who identified him and recall him acting strange. For the first time, we heard from Pandora Jules Root's mother, Simone, today, who says her daughter was full of joy and light. Simone contacted police after constant communication with her daughter went dark on May 25th.
Based on that evidence collected, Thomas Brown provided false and misleading information regarding his involvement. It was the comparison of his statements and that physical evidence. He mentioned that he flew a drone around the mountain, and that was one of the reasons that we had contacted him.
The violent murders he committed against 2 innocent teenagers. My daughter's life matters, and I look forward to the day the perpetrator is convicted and punished for his crimes.
Now we're learning more about 31-year-old Thomas Brown, a Chandler, Arizona resident, former military. He is self-employed, involved in the 3D printing business. He does have a wife. We asked law enforcement if she is cooperating with this case. Thomas Brown also told law enforcement that his wife was camping with him that weekend, but she went home the day before the murders. So police will not say if she is involved in this case or if she is cooperating with law enforcement at this time, but Captain Lee did specify they are intentionally being vague at this point in the case to protect it going forward as it goes to trial. Thomas is being held on a $2 million cash-only bond.
You actively put people at risk and you had them scared because you wanted to bond with them. Like, just imagine for a second. Imagine if I put little Knuckles in harm's way and then I looked at Knuckles and said, "Oh, Knuckles, now we could bond forever. Now we could be the best of friends. You remember that time we almost died at the work because I called in a fake shooting?" Do you know how stupid this sounds? You deranged motherfucker. You don't deserve any friends. You know what you deserve? You deserve a nice, relaxing, long, can't break out of it vacation where the best clothing is you in a nice little white compression just like this, locked like this for a long time in a padded room. It's not a cell. It's a padded, paid, expensed room that you could just sit in for hours and talk to the voices in your head because it's clear as day you fucking do that. You deranged absolute lunatic. I mean, but hey, at least now her coworkers know all about her as being just this deranged motherfucker who just wanted a friend deep inside and was willing to scare anybody in order to make a friend. Doesn't that just sound fucking stupid? Goodbye.